Hello my friends, thank you for coming back to my channel. Hope you don't mind, we're hanging out in my kitchen office today instead of the bedroom. I don't think you really care about the setting. But I was just a little too lazy to pull out my laptop and reopen all of these tabs because I already have them open from last night when I added them all to my Goodreads. This video, along with the other 30 I've posted in this series, are just me reading synopses out loud to you and myself to figure out if I want to read these books. It's a good casual Wednesday video because I can just go through them all and we can figure out if they sound interesting as their covers. We're gonna start with Finley Donovan. This one's not even on Goodreads yet, but I saw the announcement today. Unfortunately, my feed has been sucking real bad because I didn't see anything about her giving teasers for the upcoming cover until like yesterday. And in my mind, I started planning it for, designing book covers, predicting book covers video. So I'll explain to you what it was in my mind because I didn't get a chance to film a clip before it was actually revealed. The title was also apparently revealed like a while ago and I missed that too. It's called Finley Donovan Crosses the Line. So in my mind, we were gonna have Finley at a desk and she was gonna have a flashlight and it was going to be like lighting up the desk and we were gonna see some things on the desk because I guess what El Casamano has been sharing is a couple items. In a picture on Instagram every day for the last week, there's been like an item revealed. So one day there was a flashlight. The next day she posted pictures with a bunch of like beanies or toques on. And then she posted one with like a pen or in a stack of books and a light. So I figured we were gonna have Finley and I thought the cover was gonna be red and like a teal, kind of a gradient. And she was going to be shining the flashlight on the desk and we're gonna have like a pen, we were gonna have papers because the title crosses the line. So that's kind of what I pictured. The cover actually looks like this. It's her coming through a window. She does have the beanie on and it's purple and teal. Like that's really similar to the teal that I was thinking, but I've been seeing so many like red and teal covers together. So that's what I thought. This is pretty much exactly what I pictured. Like even with the light coming out of it is how I was going to cast it, but I figured it was going to come from a downward angle and she's going to be at a desk, but she's coming through a window. I have already decided I'm not continuing with the Finley series, so I will not be reading this one, but I wanted to make sure you all knew that there is another one coming out. Okay, I'm just gonna go in order of what I see here. So this one's called Palaver by Brian Washington. I think I added this because I've read from this author, right? Oh no, I have Memorial on my TBR. So this one, let's see. In Tokyo, the son works as an English tutor, drinking his nights away with friends at a gay bar. He's entangled in a sexual relationship with a married man, and while he's built a chosen family in Japan, he's estranged from his family in Houston, particularly his mother, whose preference for the son's oft-troubled homophobic brother Chris pushed him to leave home. Then in the weeks leading up to Christmas, 10 years since they last seen each other, the mother arrives uninvited on his doorstep. Okay, there's a whole nother paragraph, but I think I'm good with that. I do want to read that. That's officially added. This one's called Crafting for Sinners. I can't remember if I shared this before. I don't think I have, but I've definitely seen it. It's by Jenny Kiefer, who is an author I've read from before, but I only gave her 3 stars. So should I read this one? I really like the cover. It says a queer woman must fight her way out of a big box craft store. Oh, run by a diabolical religious cult. Okay, so don't often like cult books, but that does sound kind of fun. I think maybe I'll wait to see if other people love it, and in that case, I will pick it up. But I have now added it to my Goodreads, so if you want to find all of these books, there's a list down below. There's an airplane, but I don't have time today to wait. When Evelyn's husband and young daughter die in a car crash, she finds out nothing is quite what she thought. Secrets, lies, and grief collide in this funny, tragic... I don't know if I like a funny horror. Okay, funny I try to pitch these to you, and while I'm doing it, I'm like, no, that's not the way to go about this. It's intimate, utterly compelling, and it's a novella. Okay, so maybe I would read it if it's a novella. Writer Everly's life left in ruins. We got that. She retreats to a lonely house in the countryside to recover, but there's a well in the cellar. A spectacularly cold room, and one night Everly wakes up with a foot hanging over the emptiness of the well and the echo of her daughter's voice in her ears. Oh God. A short, sharp, emotionally layered story of horrific secrets and dangerous lies. Yeah, okay, I'll read that. Why'd you have to say it was funny? I don't know. That doesn't sound funny to me. Okay, Ballad of the Bone Road by A.C. Wise. I don't know if I love this cover, but it definitely has a vibe. I haven't read from this author before, but I definitely heard their name. Port Astor is a city of secrets. Once home to the hollow... Wait, what? Oh, I thought this was horror. It's fantasy. Once home to the Hollow Queen and her court, the Fae have been driven out by industrialists and religious leaders. But just below the surface, their legacy remains in the traceries of hidden roads, strange apparitions, and spectral hauntings. Brix and Bellfeather are paranormal investigators. I don't know if this one's for me. Clearing out Port Astor's ghosts and devouring its demons. I want to like books like this, but I don't know that I have ever, like, I'm sure there's like one or two exceptions, liked a paranormal investigation book. Both have their own something. We're missing a word, as we always are in the Goodreads things when they're moved over. If you have a what's it called? Oh my God, what's the dot and the thing? Semicolon, whatever came before it because of the coding will vanish. Both have their own something. Bellfeather shares her body with a demon. Oh, maybe secrets is the word. Brix has trapped the ghost of his fiancée in the world of the living, unwilling to let her go. When Brix is asked to investigate an apparent haunting at the prestigious Peony Hotel, he comes across a young couple tangled up in one of the city's most infamous stories. They've summoned the ghost of Jimmy Valentine, tragic movie star. That's not for me. Okay, this is like 400 pages. I bet you'll all love it. This one is fantasy mythology retelling. The cover is beautiful. It's called I Medusa by Ayana Gray. I believe this would be her adult debut because I think I've seen a couple things from her. I do believe they were YA. Meddy has spent her whole life as a footnote in someone else's story, out of place next to her beautiful immortal sisters and her parents, both gods, albeit minor ones. She dreams of leaving her family's island for the life of adventure. But when she catches the eye of the goddess Athena, who invites her to train as an esteemed priestess in her temple, Meddy leaps at the chance to see the world beyond her home. In Athens' colorful market streets and the clandestine chambers of the temple. It's one of those words that I've seen written but never heard out loud. Meddy flourishes in her role as Athena's favorite acolyte, giving her tastes of purpose and power. But when she is noticed by another Olympian, Poseidon, a drunken night between girl and god ends in violence, and the course of Meddy's promising future is suddenly and irrevocably altered. Her locks transformed into snakes as punishment for a crime she did not commit. Medusa must embrace a new identity, not as a victim, but as a vigilante. Are you interested? I'm interested. I will be reading. House of Idol by Delilah S. Dawson. I feel like I saw the cover, but it is not on Goodreads yet. House of Idol. I feel like I liked it. There's a horse. Yeah. Oh, it's a unicorn. And it's bloody. Is it a novella? It doesn't say. 256 pages. Let's find out. Oh no! It's about a singer-songwriter. Okay. We'll see. Angelina is a struggling singer-songwriter offered the chance of a lifetime to join the experimental luxury compound sponsored by the most famous band in the world. With her every need accommodated, she finally has the time and space to perfect her music. Her muse, reclusive rock star Jesper Idol, who lives up to her every high school daydream. But when people start to disappear and Jesper's ex turns up dead and mutilated, Angelina begins to suspect that something more than money powers the cult that's grown around the band. Okay. It's another one that like maybe doesn't sound like I should read it, but it's also a novella and I can get on board for anything in a novella sense. And I do like Delilah S. Dawson, so we'll see. Next up we have a fantasy novella called Psychopomp and Circumstance. Fantastic title. Fee is our main character. A daughter of the Reconstruction, born to a family of free Black business owners in New Charleston, coddled to within an inch of her life by a mother who refuses to let her daughter live a life other than the one she dictates, Fee yearns to demonstrate she's capable of more than just simply marrying well. When word arrives that her Aunt Cleo, long estranged from the family, has passed away, Fee risks her mother's wrath to step up and accept the role of Pomp, the highly honored duty of planning the funeral service. Traveling alone to the town of Horizon and her aunt's unsettling home, Fee soon discovers that visions and shadows beckon from every reflective surface, and that some secrets transcend the borders of life and death. I like how that was written. That sounds like it's for me. There's already some early reviews coming in. When does this come out? Sometimes I don't. Okay, October. A lot of these are 2026, but then there's also books that just pop up on my radar that literally come out in a month, and I haven't heard about them until now. Let's move on to Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. This one is questionable because if it's an animal as a main character, that's not something that I like. But I added it for some reason. It says, The Witcher meets Howl's Moving Castle. Two things I have not consumed. It's an original fairy tale of revenge, redemption, and friendship. Okay. The night Lissa's brother was murdered by a fairy-made monster known as the Beast, she made him a promise. She would find a way to destroy the immortal creature and avenge his death. For 13 years, she's been hunting fairies and the abominations they created. But in all that time, the one beast she's most desperate to find has never resurfaced. Until she meets Alderic, a melodramatic dandy with a coin purse bigger than his brain. What if he is the beast? What if they're one and the same? He has found the monster's lair. Is it because he's the monster? And even more surprising, retrieved one of its claws. A claw Lissa needs in order to forge a sword that can kill the beast. When the witch Ragnhild decrees that Alderic and Lissa must gather the other ingredients to forge the weapon together, or else the spell will fail, Lissa gets more than she bargained for. Okay, it's like fantasy romance. Alderic is ill-equipped for the task at hand and almost guaranteed to get himself killed. But as the two of them search for the materials that will be the beast's undoing, Alderic reveals hidden depths, dark secrets that he guards so carefully as Lissa guards hers. Before long, and against Lissa's better judgment, they begin to form a blooming friendship. Friendship? No. They need to get it on. One that will either lead to the culmination of Lissa's quest for vengeance or spell doom for them both. Dun dun dun! I do believe that's a debut, so we'll see together if it's good. Next up, I have Aces Full, edited by George R. R. Martin. These were all already published stories on Reactor or Tor.com, but they're together now in a bind up. And I really liked reading like Rogues and Dangerous Women. I've read Book of Swords, but I have Book of Magic in my TBR closet. And I've never read any of these stories, so I'm sure I will pick this up. It might sit on my TBR shelf for like a year before I read it, but I am gonna buy it. We have stories by nobody whose name I recognize except for Sherry Priest. And what do they have in common? Like, are they all about cards or are they all about magic? Like, what's the vibe? It doesn't tell me. But like, clearly there's magic. So if you like magic, check it out. Why I Love Horror, essays on horror literature, just sounds like something I want to read. I want to read some horror nonfiction this year. I've only read one so far, but this one is something that I want. A love letter to the horror genre from many of the most influential and best-selling authors. Wait, what? The authors are the essays? I thought it was just from one person. Hold on. For 25 years, Becky Siegel Spratford has worked as a librarian in reader advisory, training library workers all over the world in how to engage their patrons and readers, and to use her place as a horror expert and critic to get the word out to others, to bring even more readers into the horror fold. Why I Love Horror is captivating anthology and heartfelt tribute to the horror genre, featuring essays from Grady Hendrix, Paul Tremblay, Stephen Graham Jones, Josh Mallerman, Victor LaValle, Tanana Reeved, and Rachel Harrison. Oh, so just all my favorite horror authors in one place. That's fantastic. That's more than I even realized it was. And I now desperately need it. When does it come out? It's September. All right. Keep your eye out if you like things like that. Okay, we have Lessons in Magic and Disaster by Charlie Jane Anders, who I haven't read from, but I've definitely heard of her. And I have had multiple of her books on my TBR, but I've never actually read one. This one has two different covers. Let me know which one you like better. It says, a young witch teaches her mother how to do magic. That sounds good, with very unexpected results in this relatable, resonant family about what resident novel about family identity and the power of love. Jamie is basically your average New England academic in training. She has a strong queer relationship, an esoteric dissertation proposal, and inherited generational trauma. But she has one extraordinary secret. She's also a powerful witch. Aren't we all? What? Serena, Jamie's mother, has been hiding from the world in a one-room schoolhouse for several years, grieving the death of her wife and the simultaneous explosion in her professional life. All she has left are memories. Jamie's busy digging into a 300-year-old magical book when she finds time to teach Serena how to cast spells. Okay, that sounds interesting. It's tagged as like witch, fantasy, queer, dark academia. The vibes could very much be there. Will you be reading? I don't know how to pronounce this author's name. I think they wrote that spider book though. Yeah, that I'm going to read later this year. This one's called Cabaret in Flames. It says, ghouls can be brutal. Few know this better than Ariadne, who lost half her body to their appetites. But their brutality is a predictable constant amid Brazil's political chaos. Now she treats them in the specialized clinics she's inherited from Eric Yurkov, the mentor who rescued her as a child, trained her in medicine, built her prosthesis, and disappeared without a trace. Ariadne's routine is disturbed when Quaint knocks on her a charming tattooed ghoul, claiming to be Eric's older friend. Quaint suspects foul play in Eric's disappearance, and they soon discover Eric sought asylum at Cabaret, an infamous club in Rio de Janeiro frequented by the ghoul elite. Ghoul is such a funny word. This one comes out, I was going to say, did it already come out? No, it's next March. I don't know. I think I need to read that spidery one first. Okay, this one is The Lighthouse at the End of the World by Philip Suggers. It says, enter a London like no other in this fast-paced, captivating fantasy novel. Our main character's name is Oyster. He spent his life causing mischief, running with I'm trying not to edit this, but clearly I should be. Running with a small-time gang and fleecing money from tourists in Hyde Park. I'm going to cancel this video. I don't think this one's for me. This is what sometimes when I read the synopsis out loud, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds exactly what I want. These ones keep not sounding like they're for me. I don't really like the main character who is just existing to like trick people and con people, and like that's where the story comes from. Maybe it'll be for you. Fleecing money from tourists in Hyde Park to support his struggling family in the absence of his father, who abandoned them years ago. There's a good reason for it, Kayla. When a simple money drop for his boss goes wrong, Oyster's future looks bleak. His only chance to redeem himself is to get the money back, and he pursues the thieves across South London when he finds himself washed up on a beach surrounded by broken phones and shattered office furniture. His new Greater London, a city built on the detritus of our own, where Leviathans crafted from broken skyscrapers roam the seas. I'm just gonna make this a blog post and you can read it for yourself because I'm not doing anyone any favors. Where ink beetles nestle beneath the skin of his residents, and where Oyster's father may well have escaped all those years ago. But there are bigger things at stake. That's not enough. Oyster's allegiances are torn between the enigmatic non-such and eccentric escapist Maria Petrovna and the terrifying Mr. Primrose, and he will have to choose who to align himself with quickly. Good for him. You do that. Okay, The Feeding by A.J. Ryan. A nerve-shredding horror book where humans are no longer the top of the food chain. Layla has spent her entire life in the Redoubt, one of the last bastions of humanity in a ravaged world, but now her father has fallen ill and Layla must find a cure, which means venturing into the wilderness where the feeders are. That's it. A.J. Ryan. Oh. Okay. A.J. Ryan's other books do not look like that. Interesting. Yeah, maybe. Okay, this one, The Subtle Art of Folding Space, sounds like it's kind of for fans of Water Moon, which I didn't end up loving, but the concept was super interesting. Folding time and space. Okay. This says it's a debut science fiction novel. Wait, what? Debut science fiction novel from Nebula and Hugo winning. How have you won awards if this is your debut? Like, wait, what? Have you written short stories? How am I to understand what's happening? Okay, yeah, short stories. Got it. Ellie's universe, and this one, is falling apart. Her ailing mother is in a coma. Her sister accuses her of being insufficiently Chinese. And a shadowy cabal of engineers is trying to hijack the skunk works, the machinery that keeps the physics of each universe. My battery died in the middle of my sentence. How rude. What was I saying? The machine, okay, the skunk works, the machine that keeps the physics of each universe working the way it's supposed to. Daniel, Ellie's cousin, has found an illicit device in the skunk works, one that keeps Ellie's comatose mother alive while also creating destabilized bugs in the physics of the universe. It's not a good day. If she can confront her mother's legacy and overcome her family's generational trauma, she just might find a way to preserve the skunk works and reconcile with her sister. But digging into her family's past is thornier than it seems. All right. Yeah. What say you? Are you intrigued? This one, look at the cover. Look at the cover, everyone. Oh, damn, it's short stories. Okay, I still want to read it, but there's a rabbit. There's a rabbit, and it's by Amal El-Motar, who I have read now 2 books from and liked them both. This one, okay, short stories, fairy tales. Yeah, Seasons of Glass and Iron. With confidence and style. Okay. El-Motar guides us through exquisitely told and sharply observed tales about life as it is, was, and could be. Like miscellany from other worlds, these stories are told in letters, diary entries, reference materials, folk tales, and lyrical prose. Another plane? How often do they come? Okay, this one is Race Book, A Personal History of the Internet. That's interesting. Toshi Onyebuchi. I love this cover. An original memoir in essays that interrogates how identities are shaped and informed in online spaces, and how the relationship between race and the internet has changed in 3 decades online. That sounds so interesting. Okay, it comes out in October. I don't want to say anything else about it. That's the vibe. Rachel Griffin. Who's Rachel Griffin? Isn't that The Nature of Witches? Oh yeah, because when I saw this announcement, I was like, finally are we getting an adult? Because I want a Rachel Griffin adult novel so bad I can't even tell you. Because I'm giving her like YA witchy stuff 5 stars. Like I need an adult book stat, and I thought this was it. But clearly the cover is like a little youthful and it remains YA. But I'll probably still read it. She's one of the only YA fantasy authors I'm interested in. Let's see. Nestled deep in the snowy mountains of the Lost Range, the small village of Reverie endures on a miracle. Beyond the reach of the sun, Reverie is dependent upon the magic of the mysterious Star Maker. Every morning he trudges across a vast glacier and pulls in sunlight over the peaks, providing the village with the light it needs to survive. What a man. It's called The Sun and the Star Maker. Did I say that? Let's learn about the sun now. Or wait, is he the sun? No, he's the Star Maker. But it's beyond the reaches of the sun. Okay, Aurora is neither the sun or the Star Maker. Let's learn about her. Aurora grew up on tales of the Star Maker's magic, never imagining she'd meet him one day. But on the morning of her wedding, a fateful encounter in the frostbitten woods changes everything. The Star Maker senses a powerful magic within her and demands she come study under his guidance. Okay, with her newfound abilities tied to the survival of the village, good God, Aurora is swept away to his ice-covered castle at the mountain's peak. The Star Maker is as cold and distant as the dark woods, leaving Aurora to explore his enchanted castle with only an immortal rabbit for company? How cute. Yet the more she discovers about the sorcerer, the stronger their ruinous attraction grows. Doesn't she have a fiancé? Pulling her closer to the secrets he refuses to share, a deadly frost approaches and Aurora must uncover what the Star Maker is hiding before she's left in an endless winter that even the sun cannot touch. Ooh, it's 450 pages. A good long romantasy. Wish it was adult, but I'll take it, I guess. Why? The person responsible for this entire, like, village is a teenager? Come on now. Make them adults. Rewrite it. I recently heard about Drew Huff, who writes a bunch of horror. There's a couple things I could have added to my list, but I added this one. It's called My Name Isn't Paul, which sounds great. It's a cosmic horror, and that pulled me in. He pretended to be human for 7 years until he couldn't. He's a traveling salesman named Paul, except he isn't. He's a mirror person, a hyper-empathetic eldritch abomination. He found the human Paul's mangled corpse 7 years ago and decided to mimic it. It's just what mirror people do. Mimic, absorb, control. But breeding season for mirror people comes around every 7 years, inducing a sociopathic state, and Paul's time is up. Unable to avoid the reality of what he truly is, Paul has a mental breakdown. That's fair. And goes on a cross-country trip and runs afoul of something far, far more inhuman and dangerous than himself. A cosmic horror tale like nothing you've read before. The pitch is like nothing I've read before. So bring on November. I'm ready to read. The Graceview Patient by Caitlin Starling. Caitlin Starling has a book coming out, I think next month, that I'm really interested in. The Starving Saints. But this one comes out in October. I don't know if I like the cover. I guess I like it. It's Misery meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What a combo. Margaret lives with a rare autoimmune condition that has destroyed her life, leaving her isolated. Has no cure, but she's making do the best she can until she's offered a fully paid for spot in an experimental medical trial at Graceview Memorial. Doesn't ever go well. I'm just saying. The conditions are simple, if grueling. She will live at the hospital as a full-time patient, subjecting herself to the near total destruction of her immune system and its subsequent regeneration. The trial will essentially kill most of, but not all of her. But as the treatment progresses and her body begins to fail, she stumbles upon something sinister living and spreading within the hospital. Oh no. Unsure of what's real and what is just medical-induced delusion, Margaret struggles to find a way out as her body and mind succumb further into darkness, lurking throughout Gracieview's halls. Ding, 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 we have a winner. I definitely need to read that. Okay, big news, if you haven't seen, and you were a Stephanie Perkins girl circa 10 years ago. Overdue is coming out, her debut adult book. Oh my God. Do we need to read it? I think it's about a librarian. Ingrid Dahl, a cheerful, I don't know if I love reading about cheerful people. It'll be fun. A cheerful 29-year-old librarian in the cozy mountain town of Ridgetop, North Carolina, has been happily dating her college boyfriend Corey for 11 years without ever discussing marriage. But when Ingrid's sister announces her engagement to a woman she's only been dating for 2 years, Ingrid and Corey feel pressured to consider their future. Not failure. Neither has ever been with anyone else, so they make an unconventional decision. Oh no! They'll take a 1-month break to date other people, then they'll reunite and move toward marriage. That's so stressful. Ingrid even has someone in her charming... No, she already has someone in mind? Her charming, grumpy coworker, Macon. I don't like that name for a book character. If that's your name, I'm happy for you. On whom she's secretly crushed for years. I hate this. When plans go awry, the month ends, and Ingrid and Corey realize they're not ready to resume their relationship. Spoilers. So this is okay, why even tell it? Like, okay, this is a romance between her and someone else while she's planning to get married. Okay. Her crush has turned into something much, much more complicated. Overdue is a beautiful slow burn romance of lust and longing about new beginnings and finding your way. I'm so caught off guard by what I just read. I can't even read anymore. Here's the thing. If you go into it knowing the pitch, then you can't complain that, like, it's messy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're already going to read this, you're already signing up for mess and understanding that, like, this is not necessarily decisions that are like good or ones that you would make, or are comfortable. So interesting. Will I read it? I have this video concept. Another plane? Do I live at the airport? A concept I have for my 10 years on BookTube is reading authors that I haven't read for 10 years and like reading their newest thing. And a lot of authors I was reading 10 years ago have debuted their adult books like recently or are coming soon. So this could be one, but is it really fair for me to go into it when I already don't think I'm gonna like it? Like that sounds crazy. That sounds so stressful. Then we have a new Oyukan Braithwaite, who is the author, correct? Of My Sister the Serial Killer? Yeah. This one is called Cursed Daughters. It says, so goes the family curse, long handed down from generation to generation, ruining families and breaking hearts. And now it's Enyi's turn, who, due to her uncanny resemblance to her dead aunt or aunt? Why do I just switch up every time? Monif is already used to her family's strange beliefs as well as their insistence that she's a reincarnation. Still, when she falls in love with the handsome boy she saved from drowning, she can no longer run from her family's history. Is she destined to live out the habitual story of love and heartbreak, or can she escape the family curse and the mysterious fate that befell her aunt? I'll probably read that because I just really liked her writing the first time. This one will be more just like general fiction contemporary, probably a little less dark, but with curses and, you know, maybe just as dark. This one is, oh yeah, I just wanted to show you the cover to the sequel to Quicksilver. The fuck is this? Not that I love the cover, but it's just so different that I don't really get the choice to do this. I guess because it's like more traditionally published, and the first book, the author made the cover. This one comes out in November, and it's just a continuation of the story between Ceres and Kingfisher, which I liked. It's one of the only romanticies I've been more or less into. Alexis Henderson, there's an announcement that she's getting a speculative YA debut called When I Was Death, which is so interesting because so many people call her horror books YA, and I've been like, no, they're adult, even though they star like, you know, almost teenagers, like new adults. So I'm trying to figure out, is it saying for like it's speculative that's new for her? Like, is this going to be more fantasy? Are we still in the horror realm? I don't know. It says, Rosalind is brought into the fold of an enigmatic group of girls who may have answers of her sister's mysterious death, only to discover a far more sinister reality. The girls have been recruited by Death incarnate to do his bidding, and now Rosalind must decide if she'll strike the same deal. I'm gonna love it. That's all I know. YA or adult. I just love Alexis Henderson. We got an announcement from Rachel Harrison. I shared another one coming out from her. I can't remember the title. Play Nice, maybe? Coming out later this year. But there's another one called Kiss, Slay, Replay. It says, a recently divorced young woman attends the wedding of a close friend. Love weddings. Only to find herself trapped as a perpetual wedding guest in a time loop. Oh, a time loop of carnage and horror that only she can break. Rachel Harrison, I don't know how she keeps pulling me back in. Every time I hear about one of her books, I want to read it so bad, even though I give her low ratings normally. Dahlia Adler has something called Soon by You coming up that I saw. It's her adult debut. It's a modern Orthodox Jewish rom-com in which sparks fly between a perpetual bridesmaid with no interest in settling down and a wedding singer gone viral who's given up on love, but both are unsure if this can ever be more than a fling when everyone in their community is so sure they're wrong for each other. That sounds perfect for me. Okay, and then there's Where Devils Stand by Johnny Compton. This is an anthology of stories. Wait, did he edit it? Anthology of stories centered on places where the devil, according to rumor, legend, or tradition, has appeared on Earth. featuring book stories from Erin Craig, Tananarive Due, Clay McLeod Chapman, Aaron E. Adams. Oh, that sounds good. I will be reading that. And then I just saw this acquisition announcement, and apparently anything with mushrooms gets me, because it's called Wife-Shaped Bodies by Lauren Cranehill. There's no other information, and I added it. Maybe there is. See the little arrow? That means my screenshot had more information, and perhaps I just decided not to scroll. That was enough. Wife-Shaped Bodies, like, what an interesting title. Here we go. Sorrowland meets The Last of Us in this eco-feminist horror debut set in a spore-infected world where a newlywed covered in mushroom growths, like all the wives in her cloistered community, strikes a precarious balance between following her husband's strict rules and pursuing an intense connection with another woman who makes her question everything. Exploring gender and power through the lens of mycological body horror, Wife-Shaped Bodies is ultimately an ode to the terrifying beauty of the natural world and the transformative potential of the community. Yeah, adding that. You should add it too. That's everything that I added to my Goodreads yesterday. And now we have decided together that I'm going to read like a third of them, and the rest just sound fine. But if you have been intrigued by something, then again, the link will be down below for you to add all of these. The announcement ones, they may not have Goodreads listings, so just like keep an eye out. I'd love to hear all your thoughts down below. Thank you for hanging out with me on this casual Wednesday when I didn't have a whole lot of time, but hopefully it offered you something of value. Love you as a friend. Bye!